I can't get the thought out of my mind. Which Pokemon is the most edible? That is the question I strive to answer, starting with the Pokemon from Gen 1. Join me on this morally questionable journey as I will be ranking the original 151 by how much I want to consume them. Let's lay down some ground rules. The factors we will take into consideration are 1. How edible is it? So obviously a lot of steel types will not be ranking very high as they are made of metal, and I cannot eat metal. Pokemon I can technically eat despite the risks will rank higher than Pokemon I cannot. 2. Required preparation. A Pokemon I can pick up off the ground and eat raw is going to rank higher than a Pokemon that is going to take significant preparation, cooking, and additional ingredients. 3. How much of the Pokemon is edible? This ties into the last one, but a Pokemon like Squirtle is going to lose points because of the hard, inedible shell. I will also be factoring the amount of food, different types of food, and number of preparations for each Pokemon. 4. How good do I think it will taste? Unless I have a reason to believe otherwise, I'm going to be baseline assuming most Pokemon will taste good in some way. And finally 5, I will be mostly going off vibes, but I will refer to the Pokedex when necessary or funny. Now while these are not hard set categories, here's a brief overview of what you can expect from each tier. F tier, Pokemon I cannot eat. A lot of steel types, a lot of rock types. D tier, Pokemon that will cause great discomfort or death when consumed, so expect a lot of poison types to land here. C tier, Pokemon that I could eat, but I don't think would be very good or worth the effort. B tier, Pokemon that I think would make for an average meal and requires additional ingredients. A tier, Pokemon I think would make for a very good meal. S tier, Pokemon that are near made out of food. Let us begin. Bulbasaur. So we kind of hit a roadblock right out of the gate as what exactly is Bulbasaur? Is it a plant? Is it flesh? The "saur" in the name would imply it's reptilian in nature, but its Japanese name is Fushigadane, meaning mysterious seed, so I don't got a clue. Is what I thought originally, but Bulbasaur is part of both the grass and monster egg groups, so I'm going to say Bulbasaur is made of tasty, tasty flesh. The bulb on its back is a large seed and might taste rather good roasted, but I'm concerned about the fact that Bulbasaur is indeed a poison type. A low C tier, Ivysaur. Ivysaur is just a bigger Bulbasaur, but the seed on its back has bloomed into a flower. Would this make it more or less edible? I can't say, I don't eat a lot of flowers. C tier, Venusaur. You're not going to believe this, but it's just a bigger Ivysaur. C tier, Charmander. Lucky for us, Charmander seems to have a relatively humane way to end its life if we just put out the fire on its tail. Then we just skewer it and roast it and we got some alright eating right there. B tier, Charmeleon and Charizard. Yeah, the evolved forms of lots of the starters are just bigger versions, so these two are just going to end up in the same place. Squirtle. I bet the meat inside is pretty good, but I'm worried the shell might cause some problems during preparation, but maybe we could make a nice soup. Low B tier. Wartortle and Blastoise. Yep, it got bigger. Caterpie. My first thought was that Caterpie was going to be too small to be worth it unless you got a bunch of them, but it turns out Caterpie is clocking in at a foot long, so I think all we need to do is cook it up, no problem. A tier. Metapod. Now we finally get into an evolution that actually changes the Pokemon, as Metapod is significantly harder than Caterpie. I don't think I could eat the hard outer shell. I'm worried I'll get toothaches, and I don't think the meat inside would be that worth it. C tier, Butterfree. Once it emerges from its chrysalis though, we have a large bug Pokemon we could eat and maybe grind the wings into a seasoning. Is what I thought, but according to Butterfree's Pokedex entry, its wings are covered in a poisonous powder. Well, its affinity for honey probably makes it taste pretty good. I'm not huge on dying. D tier, Weedle. I would say just hawk the spikes off for a slightly worse Caterpie, but Weedle is a poison type which throws a wrench in our plans. D tier, Kakuna. It's Metapod again, but even if we can get to the meat inside, that meat is going to be poisonous. I would go F, but I still technically could eat it. Super low D tier. Beedrill. Same as Butterfree, big poisonous bug, D tier. There are a shocking number of poison types in Gen 1. Pidgey. Finally, some good fucking food. Pidgey is just a bird, probably tastes like chicken. A tier, Pidgeotto and Pidgeot. Damn, Game Freak, back at it again with the just making it bigger evolutions. A tier. Also, turns out Pidgeot can fly at Mach 2. My apologies, Pidgeot, I was unfamiliar with your game. I'll still eat you though. Rattata and Raticate. It's a rat, but purple and then brown. According to its Pokedex entries, Rattata will eat anything that it can, which makes me a bit concerned about its flavor. And maybe I'm just rat prejudiced, but I'm worried it won't be the cleanest. C tier, Spearow and Fearow. Pidgey 2, Electric Boogaloo. A tier, Ekans and Arbok. Now you would think that these two would score an automatic D for being poison types, but Ekans is based on a rattlesnake, and rattlesnakes are actually edible, as they are venomous, not poisonous, so as long as we cut the head off, we should be good. That still doesn't leave us with much, but it's less than nothing. C tier, Pikachu and Raichu. The face of the franchise, and if you ask me, this chubby-cheeked bastard is going to make for some good eating, especially the old Gen 1 fat Pikachu. He's got some meat on him. Plus, I think electricity types would have a unique taste. Same goes for Raichu. A tier, Sandshrew. Have you ever wanted to eat sand? Well, that's Sandshrew's Japanese name. Dry, hard outer shell, nothing to love here consumption-wise. C tier, Sandslash. Oh god, it's just Sandshrew but covered in spikes. C tier, Nidoran and friends. Literally covered in poisonous barbs. I guess not that different from a pufferfish, but I just don't see it happening. D tier, Clefairy and Clefable. I bet it tastes like strawberries. A tier, Vulpix and Ninetales. I'm really getting off easy with how many Gen 1 Pokemon are just animals. Things are going to get a lot harder later when I have to contend with eating a living building, but for now, B tier. I'm worried it might be spicy. Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff's Pokedex entry says its body is soft and rubbery. I imagine the same goes for Jiggly, and that's not exactly the texture you want from meat. C tier. Zubat, Golbat, Oddish, Gloom, and Vileplume. Zubat and Golbat are poison types, and the Vileplume line are quite literally poisonous mushrooms, and so they're all going to go in D tier. Paris and Parasect. Both are infected by a mind-controlling parasitic mushroom, and while I've never personally eaten a mind-controlling parasitic mushroom, I can't imagine it being a delicacy delight. D tier. Venonat and Venomoth. Remember what I said about Gen 1 having a lot of poison types? Yeah. But honestly, with how fuzzy Venonat is, I can't imagine it being very good in the first place. D tier. Diglett and Dugtrio. What is this? It's a ground type. The Alolan form grows metallic hair, but it's in the field egg group with other animal Pokemon and not the mineral egg group. I'm just gonna put them somewhere else. Thinking about this is starting to give me a headache. Meowth and Persian. This is a cat. Now, I'm not opposed to eating a cat. I would eat most animals if offered, honestly. I have hang-ups for some primates, but really, I'm game for anything short of human. B tier, Psyduck. This would be another Pokemon that's just an animal and would go to A tier, but Psyduck is constantly plagued by headaches, and I'm worried that eating it would cause me to have headaches. High D tier, Golduck. However, Golduck has evolved beyond these headaches, and this means that evolution has not helped its survival, as I will now eat it gladly. A tier, Mankey and Primeape. I know I said I have hang-ups about eating primates, but not these primates, though I worry that the constant fits of intense rage they're subjected to may make the meat tough and stringy. B tier, Growlithe and Arcanine. What do you really want me to say? It's a dog. I would eat it. B tier. Things are easy now, but when I get to Gen 5, I'll have to contend with eating a man. Poliwag. Meatball. A tier. Poliwhirl and Poliwrath. I've never had frog legs, but what about frog arms? A tier. Abracadabra and Alakazam. I'm kind of at a loss again. Abra is more cat-like, but Alakazam is fairly humanoid. Its outer skin seems hard. I mean, it literally has shoulder pads. A very confused C tier. Machop, Machoke, and Machamp. Turns out I have to contend with the idea of eating a man sooner than I thought. I mean, however man-shaped it may be, it's still an animal, right? B tier? Bellsprout, Weepinbell, and Victorybell. More poison types. I'm worried that the acid it uses to digest prey would give me a stomachache, and no matter how hard I try, I can't nail down that Tums sponsorship, so they're going in D tier. Tentacool and Tentacool. There are 33 poison types in Gen 1. There are only 101 poison types across all the games, and a third of them are from Gen 1. I like Calamari, but I don't like poison. D tier, Geodude. That's a rock. That's a rock with arms. I can't eat that, like, at all. F tier, same goes for Graveler and Golem, Ponyta and Rapidash. This is just a horse. Might give me heartburn, but I'm sure if I can't get that Tums sponsorship, I can get Pepto-Bismol. B tier, Slowpoke. Slowpoke is interesting as it's confirmed to be one of the Pokemon that people actually do eat in universe, with Slowpoke tails even being considered a delicacy. That's all the proof I need. S tier, Slowbro. Slowbro would rank similarly, but look, this guy is already nibbling on the best part. Demoted to A tier. Magnemite and Magnezone. Our first steel types and the only steel types in Gen 1. I'll eat horses until the cows come home to see what I've done to their neighbors, but I can't eat metal. F tier, Farfetch'd. This is a duck holding a leek, which I could cook and serve with it. What more could I possibly ask for? S tier, Doduo and Dodrio. I feel like these guys are all skin and bones, not a lot of meat to be had here. A lot of inedible excess. C tier. Seal and dugong. It's literally named seal. It's food. I'll eat it. A tier. Grimer and muck. Not only are they poison types, they're made of hardened sludge. They love dirty places, and muck smells so bad it can cause fainting. Both are getting an F tier, and muck is getting the prize for least edible of this generation. I can at least gnaw on a Geodude or Magnemite, but muck is made out of toxic, nauseating sludge. Shelder. It's a clam. A tier. Cloyster. It's an oyster. A tier. Ghastly. Now with Haunter and Gengar, they are ghosts, and I don't think I can eat them, so they go in F tier. Cause I can't eat ghosts. But Ghastly is almost entirely gas, and I feel like with the right tools could be inhaled. That being said, it is still a ghost and also a poison type, so vaping it probably isn't the best idea, but still doable. D tier. Onyx. Believe it or not, I still can't eat rocks, and this time it's many rocks lined up. F tier. Drowsy and Hypno. I don't like to think about these guys for too long, so I'll just mark them as B tier and move on. Krabby and Kingler. Crabs! A tier. Voltorb and Electrode. So there's actually very little information about what these guys actually are. Gen 1 is such a mixed bag because some are just animals, but others like Diglett just have dex entries that say, I don't know. The best we have is that Voltorbs were first sighted in a Pokeball factory, but it's unclear if there's any correlation. What we do know is that the slightest bump can cause them to explode. Bombs aren't food. F tier, Execute. Technically, Execute isn't actually made of eggs, but is instead a cluster of seeds. But a hard shell with a tasty yellow center? That's more than egg enough for me. S tier. Executor. Fallen Executor heads are actually what Executes are made of, so I imagine they're more akin to coconuts than eggs. But would you rather eat a coconut or a whole coconut tree? Delicious heads, but a lot of waste. B tier. Cubone. It's said that Cubone wears its mother's skull after its mother dies shortly after birth. Wonder whose fault that is. But other than that, it's a small reptilian, not that different from Charmander. B tier. Marowak. Just a bigger Cubone, but that won't stop me from making some more orphans. B tier. Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. More man-like Pokemon. These two honestly don't seem like they have a ton of meat on them, and I just get a vibe that the texture would be really tough. C tier. Lickitung. I was really excited about this one because Cowtongue is good, and this guy's packing over 6 feet of tongue. I was ready to put it in S, honestly, but then I read the Pokedex. Lickitung's licks can cause rashes, paralysis, and makes things stink bad, and so my hopes of chowing down on my body's weight's worth of tongue meat have been dashed. D tier. Coughing and wheezing. Poison gas. D tier. Rhyhorn and Rhydon. Rhydon's horn can crush diamonds. Even if there is tasty meat under that rocky exterior, I'm probably not getting to it anytime soon. F tier. Chansey. After all those busts, this is more like it. A surplus of meat, but more importantly, it lays multiple highly nutritious and delicious eggs every day. I wouldn't even eat its meat, I'd keep it around for the eggs. Ladies and gentlemen and in-betweens, I think we have our winner for Gen 1. A source of surplus eggs is an easy S tier. Tangela. It's said that Tangela's vines are like seaweed, and I will cook him into spaghetti. A tier. Kangaskhan. 2 for the price of 1. It'd be an interesting meal to compare how the baby and the adult taste different. I mean, it's basically veal. S tier. Horsey and Seadra. Can't say I've ever eaten a seahorse before. While Horsey is probably fine for eating and falls in B tier, Seadra, while not a poison type, can still have the poison point ability, and is said that it leaks poison from its spine, so it's gonna fall in D. Goldeen and Seaking. They're fish. I eat fish. A tier. Staryu and Starmie. For some reason, I just can't imagine either of them tasting very good. I feel like they'd be very chewy. Staryu can technically regenerate infinitely as long as its core isn't damaged, but I feel like that counts as cruelty. C tier. Mr. Mime. Skip. Scyther. I probably can't eat its sharp scythe arms, but the rest of it should be fine bug meat. B tier. Jinx. Oh, damn it, I used my skip. Let's look at the dex entries. It seductively wiggles. Yeah, let's just throw it in C and move on. Electabuzz. A lot of meat on the center body, but not much on the arms and legs. Is this fur? Is this skin? I don't know. B tier. Magmar. A big duck means a big meal. Might be spicy, but I'll get over it. A tier. Pinsir. Pinsir's outer shell seems hard and probably not worth the trouble. C tier. Tauros. A cow. A tier. Magikarp. God, I bet Magikarp sushi tastes great. A tier. Gyarados. Described as the atrocious Pokemon, Gyarados is said to be extremely violent and vicious while being capable of destroying cities, so maybe we just leave Gyarados alone. D tier. Lapras. According to the Dex, humans have hunted Lapras to near extinction, so it's gotta taste pretty damn good in that case. S tier, but I do have my qualms about eating an endangered species. Ditto. Ditto copies the genetic code of whatever it transforms into, which means that Ditto could be any other Pokemon on this list. It can transform into whatever it sees. S tier just out of versatility alone, might even beat out Chansey for the #1 spot. Eevee, Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. I have no issues eating any of these dogs. B tier. Porygon. You know, I've never tried, but I'm gonna go with my gut and say I can't eat computer code. F tier. Ammonite and Amistar. There's a tasty squid in that shell. You could take it out or cook it in the shell. The world is our cloister. A tier. Kabuto and Kabutops. They may be the shellfish Pokemon, but I feel like there really isn't much here to eat. I think these guys are all shell. F tier. Aerodactyl. I want to eat a dinosaur, but it is still a rock type, and I don't think its meat would be very abundant or very good. C tier. Speaking of abundant meat, here comes Snorlax. Well, large, it is going to be mostly fat, so probably not the best for eating. And it's going to take a week just to trim all that away to get to the actual meat. C tier. Articuno. Another bird sounds like good eating, but being an ice type, I worry that the meat is going to come out tasting like it's been frozen no matter how fresh it is. B tier. Zapdos. Zapdos has no meat on it. This skinny thing is feathers all the way down, and for that, it's getting a C tier. It really just keeps getting worse for the legendary birds, because I feel like Moltres seems good on paper, but Moltres is very much on fire all the time. Part of me thinks the meat is going to be completely fireproof, and I won't be able to cook it at all. D tier. Dratini, Dragonair, and Dragonite. Have you ever eaten a dragon? Me neither, but you gotta imagine they taste pretty good. Plus, they're big. Even Dratini can be over 6 feet long, so you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. A tier. Mewtwo. I don't want any of these dang GMO Pokemon. I prefer organic. D tier. Mew. Like Ditto, Mew can transform into any other Pokemon, so it's gonna place right alongside it. Why does the Fire Red Pokedex say Mew comes from South America? The ancient ancestor to all Pokemon, and it comes from Chile? Well, that's the original 151 ranked. A lot of A because they were just animals, and a lot of Ds because there were a lot of poison types. I'm very excited for future gens where I can do a bit deeper analysis on some Pokemon. But until then, today's big winner is Chansey, and our biggest loser and least edible Gen 1 Pokemon is Muck. Well, I guess being a winner and loser is subjective based on how much you want to be edible. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future installments of this slightly disturbing series, and you'll see me next time.